Good morning, everyone. Let me check on everything streaming over here. Hello, it's me, Jessica, your health fitness program manager from McLean, and we're about to get into today's LIIT workout. I recommend having a mat and some weights, some like medium-ish weights. You might want more than one variety of weight. There I am. Oh, so good. Okay. Great. So let's go ahead and get started standing today, just standing up. Give me a couple shoulder rolls in one direction and then a couple shoulder rolls in the opposite direction. Helps if I hit the timer. Okay, and then just a few lateral side to side step taps with a couple swings of your arms, crossing which arm you have on top each time, drawing your pinky fingers back towards each other. And I'm even taking a little tap over of one foot and then the other. Make sure you're breathing. Let's get just a couple more big swings here, warming up our chest, squeezing those shoulder blades together. And then go ahead, plant your feet. Inhale your arms all the way up overhead. That feels good. Exhale, relax your arms down by your side. One more time. Bend your knees. Inhale your arms up overhead. This time, draw your belly in. Exhale, we're going to reach down towards the floor. Inhale, lift yourself all the way back up. Exhale, reach on down to the floor. Just moving with your own breath, a couple ups and downs, warming up your hamstrings a little bit more. If you're feeling really tight, you might be taking a generous bending your knees. Maybe you're not reaching all the way down towards the floor. Maybe you're just reaching. We're going to actually come on down to the floor the next time your hands come into that space. So bringing your hands down to the floor, plant your hands firmly. Give yourself a couple cat cows here. Maybe you're going for some traditional cat cow, rounding and flexing the spine. Maybe you're going for something a little bit more involved or just juicy, moving your hips as much as you want or need. Awesome. Send your glutes back towards your heels. And then go ahead, turn your hands palms over for a moment. Back of the hands down on the floor, fingertips pointing towards your knees. You're applying as much pressure on the back of your hands as feels good for you. Exhale, bring your glutes back towards your heels. Inhale, lift yourself up. Two more times. Exhale, glutes back towards heels. Inhale, lift yourself up. Final one. Exhale, glutes back towards heels. Inhale, lift yourself. Peel your hands off of the mat. Let's go ahead and get right into our first set of exercises. We're going to stay down here on the floor for our whole workout. Move number one is going to be a kneeling row. So taking a little hinge from your hips, driving your glutes back behind you. If you need to, you can always put a cushion underneath of your knees, or you can roll your mat up. As you can see, not working from my home today, so I have the beeps on. I mean the vibrate instead of beeps. I'm going to let you know when those 40 seconds are up in case you only want to work for 40 seconds. Otherwise, as per usual, option to work for a full minute. We're going for 4 rounds. We start with just our rows in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. I'm going to put this right here so I can feel that vibration. Great. So your options for your rows are to be doing one arm at a time if you need to, pulling your elbow back, shoulders away from your ears, mostly flat back. That large back muscle, your lats, drawing down towards your hips. And if you feel good about it, you can also go for both arms at the same time. Using your exhale, I'm just pulling the heads of the dumbbell back towards my pockets if I had any, and doing the best to keep any sort of wrinkles out of your neck. Each time those elbows draw back, try not to let your rib cage flare out too much. I'm paranoid that I'm not keeping track of the time with these beeps. Oh, I did not even feel it. Awesome. So if you wanted that little break, that first 20 seconds already happened. Our next move is going to be a bird dog. So hands down to the floor. Let's go ahead, extend your left leg nice and long, right leg in front of it. On your inhale, you're going to lift up to be nice and long. Toes point down towards the floor, thumb facing up towards the ceiling. And on your exhale, you're just going to tap down towards the floor. Inhale, find that lift, press through your heel. Exhale, tapping down towards the floor. Inhale, lift. Exhale, release. We got 10 more seconds. If you're just going for 40 seconds of work, we're going to get the other side the next round. So if you want that break, here's your break, 40 seconds. Otherwise, we can keep going for these last 20 seconds. Still just giving me a thumbs up, finding your length. Our next move, we're going to roll over, come onto our backs. We've got a glute bridge and a skull crusher. So set yourself up, lay down on the floor, grab hold of your weights. Arms up towards the sky like you're sleepwalking. Drive your hips up. Let's bend the elbows, head to the dumbbell, come towards your shoulders or the top of your head, and then find your glute bridge, lift and lower your hips. So weights come towards your head, and then glutes come towards the floor. Keep going. I'm just bringing my eyes on the timer. We got 10 seconds left right here. If you only want to work for 40 seconds at a time, if you want more from this tricep move though, here's your 40-second break. You can always bring your arms to a 45-degree angle. Increasing the angle that your arms are already under tension is going to increase the challenge that you feel in those triceps. We got one last move after this. So let's go ahead, put our weights down or flip it on over. We've got a down dog with a bear. Let's get started. So back into your tabletop, tuck your toes under, let your knees hover off of the ground. Shoulders roll down away from your ears, your back is engaged. When you need a break or anytime you would like, send your hips up towards the sky. Take that down dog. Low belly comes towards the thighs, biceps come towards your ears. This is a recovery move, but it's an active recovery move. So it's still quite challenging. And when you're ready for a little bit more, carefully release those knees as close to the floor as you can without them touching. If you want that break at 40 seconds, that break is right now. Otherwise, let's keep going for these last 20 seconds, and then we're going to come back into our kneeling rows. Actually, we're going to change that kneeling row up, and we're going to turn it into a kneeling fly for this second time around, just to work the back a little bit differently. So go ahead, plant your knees, grab hold of your weights if you're using them. We're still staying in a hinge, but this time, exhale, squeeze your shoulder blades together. Both arms come wide out, like you're flying. So I'm facing the floor, but I'm doing my best to just bring my arms out wide in line with those shoulders. And just like before, if you need to, you can always do one arm at a time. Think about keeping your low belly pulled in nice and tight. Shoulders are still away from your ears. Some heaviness as you send those glutes back behind you. If you want the break at 40 seconds is in 3, 2, 1, or you can keep going. Join me for this minute, even if it means that you need to do one arm at a time. Do you remember what our next move is going to be? It's bird dog, and we're going for the opposite arm and leg, if you can remember which one that is. So I'm going to put weights down on the floor to prepare myself. This time, left leg goes long, right arm. Nope, that's what I did before. This time, left arm, right leg, toes pointed down towards the floor. So finding that tap down, and then that inhale and lift. I'm going to give myself a little bit more space here. So I'm not trying to overarch the back. You're squeezing your glute. You're activating the back to get that leg to lift. Maybe you don't even have the strength yet to get that leg to lift in line with the rest of your body. If you want the break at 40 seconds, you can take it right now. Otherwise, we're going to keep going for the rest of this minute, and then we're going to flip over and get our next round of skull crushers with those glute bridges. I'm going to flip over right now. Make sure we have time for the skull crusher glute bridge. Set yourself up, lay down on your back, arms come up nice and high. And then we're going to bend the elbows and find your glute bridge. If you want a little bit more into your hamstrings instead of just your glutes, instead of keeping the soles of the feet pretty much under your knees, you can always walk your feet further towards the end of the mat. Dig your heels into the mat. Let your toes lift. And we're working the backs of the thighs more here than we were when our feet were closer towards our glutes. So I cannot see the timer. All right, we're coming towards the end of our 40 seconds if you want that break right here. Otherwise, let's keep going for a couple more reps. And then we'll flip over and get our bear to down dog. I'm going to even add in the option of a plank this time. So release your weights back down to the floor. Let's flip on over. Set yourself up in tabletop. Toes tuck, and let's begin. Knees hover off of the floor. Hips send high for your down dog. When your knees hover again, option to step yourself out into a plank. Step yourself back into your bear. Send your hips high towards the sky. Awesome. Now you know all the moves that are coming at you for today's workout. You can do as much or as little as you want. You can take as many breaks as you need. Come back to the movement when you can. Or remember, if you're hanging out in your down dog, that's a great active recovery. If you want the break at 40 seconds, that's your 40 seconds. Otherwise, we're going to keep going for a couple more. And then you're going to bring your knees down towards the floor. Let's set ourselves up. We're coming back into our rows. So still that hinge at the hips. Rows in 3, 2, 1. So either one or both arms at the same time. This is our second to last time through. We're going a little bit longer this week than we did last week. That way you don't have to hit rewind. And I showed you in the beginning some great stretches for the wrists already. Highly recommend you bring those into play throughout the day. If you're going to stop at 40 seconds, you got 10 seconds left to go here. Ooh, it is getting hot in here, y'all. How about for you at home? 3, 2, that's that 40-second break where you can keep going, get the full almost minute. And then I'm going to start with right arm, left leg in the bird dog. You can do the same move that we did for bird dog last time and just find that lift and lower, or option to add in a crunch. So putting your weights down, planting your hands firmly on your mat. Let's go ahead, find that nice long extension. So toes still pointing down, fingers pointing forward, and then exhale, bring your elbows and knees together to touch. Inhale, find your length, and if you want, you can tap that down. You can put all the moves together, finding that lift, that lower, that crunch as well. The more that you focus your eyes gently forward of your fingers, the more that you keep breathing, the better your balance is going to be. This is the last time that we're getting bird dog on this side. Oops. Keep forgetting to point my toe. It's okay. You're still getting lots of engagement if you don't point that toe. If you need the 40-second rest, it is right now. Otherwise, just a couple more rounds, and then we're going to flip over and prepare for those skull crushers and glute bridges again. So turning over onto your glutes, I'm going to go for my regular glute bridge this time. Feet in a little bit closer. Get right into the move. Woo. Maybe you even just stay high, stay a little pulsing in your glute bridge, giving me, a glute bridge every time you make a skull crusher happen. And elbows are pointing high towards the sky. Upper arms are staying braced towards each other, kind of close, like a number 11, just making sure that your elbows are not winging out towards the side. If you want the break at 40 seconds, it is right now. Otherwise, let's keep going. Couple more reps, and then we're going to flip over for our second to last time, getting in our bird dog. Getting in our Releasing the weights. Um, Down dog, down dog. So many dogs. Okay, coming back to just the bear down dog this round. Such a great stretch into the hamstring, just moving slowly and with intention. Each time you come back into the bear, really think about externally rotating your shoulders. So we want to take this rounding out of the shoulders and shoulders down and back. And maybe that means you need to go a little bit slower, but anytime that we're in this plank push-up position, instead of taking that rounding forward, we want that really engaged back, shoulders down and back. If you need the break at 40 seconds, this is 40 seconds. Otherwise, let's just keep going. Lots of challenge today into the wrist, lots of stretching within our movements. One last time through. So go ahead, plant your knees firmly on the floor. Let's get our final fly. Hinging from your hips, finding that squeeze of your shoulder blades towards each other, hands up, coming in line with your shoulders. And if your weights are too heavy, you can always put your weights down. Just practice this range of motion. Remember, each time your arms fly out wide, we want to not let our center line, our rib cage, flare out also. So the core is pulled in so nice and tight, and you're breathing, and your shoulders are away from your ears. There's so many things to remember. So be kind to yourself, one thing at a time, one day at a time. Here's your 40 seconds if you need a break at 40 seconds. Do you remember our next move? Me neither. It's the bird dog. It's the last side of the bird dog. We're going to add in that crunch. So go ahead, put your weights down. This time, my left hand, my right leg, I think. Yes, that feels correct. So still finding that nice long length. Option to bring in this crunch. If you want to, you can always still add that lower, that lift, and then add your crunch and working your back, working a little bit of those glutes. Great work, everyone. Last few breaths, last few rounds. If you're stopping at the 40 seconds, the 40 seconds is right now. Otherwise, let's keep it up. Last few times. We're going to flip over after this. Glute bridge, skull crusher. Did you remember? Sometimes half of the workout is just remembering what's next. All right, I'm going to come back into that hamstring focused glute bridge also with heels further away from the center line. Just pressing heels in towards the floor. Getting that skull crusher, either the slightly easier version with your arms straight up towards the sky like you're sleepwalking, or that slightly more challenging version with your arms already at a 45-degree angle. Remember, elbows are squeezing towards each other just so they stay in line with your shoulders straight up towards the sky. Hopefully you're getting a little tremble, tremble, tremble with those arms. That's your 40 seconds if you want to break at 40 seconds. Otherwise, get a couple more in. And when you're ready, we're going to flip on over into tabletop one last time. So releasing your low back to the floor, carefully releasing your weights to the floor. We've got that down dog, bear, plank combo. Tucking your toes under, find your bear, find your down dog, find your bear. Shoulders externally rotated, step into your plank. You can hang out in any of these positions for as long as you want to. When we finish, we're just going to bring knees down towards the floor, send glutes back towards our heels, and enjoy some child's pose. So you either get to enjoy that child's pose right now, releasing knees down if you want the break at 40 seconds, or we've got 20 seconds of work left to go. Can you challenge yourself? Can you join me and keep working all the way up to the very end? Yay. Knees release down towards the floor. You can open them as wide as you want. Send your glutes back towards your heels. Relax your head and your hairline towards the floor. If your shoulders are tired, you don't have to extend your arms all the way forward. You can take a generous bend of your elbows, maybe even hands reaching all the way back towards your heels to really separate your shoulders. Just find where your breath feels best. Keep slowing your exhale down. And when you're ready, we're going to press back up into tabletop. Once you're there, give me a couple cat cows. And let's give a little bit more love to the wrist. We are just about out of time, but making some circles, bringing your shoulders gently forwards of your wrist. Do me a favor, change direction of those circles. Awesome. Sit your glutes back onto your heels, peel your hands up off the floor, and a couple more circles with your wrists in one direction, in the opposite direction. Open and close your fist. Shake your hands out. I know we spent a lot of time on those hands, so I'm just going to keep waving them at you and encouraging you to wave them yourself, to move them around, to have some fun, to give yourself some stretches throughout the rest of the day. That's all the time that we have together, but I hope I'll see you a little bit later this afternoon for yin yoga. Till then, have a wonderful morning. Thanks for coming.